Welcome back everybody to another episode of Sneaker Updates. This will be Sneaker Updates number 21, and if you happen to be new here, this has now become a weekly series on the channel, and if you're not familiar with the series, essentially we go over a variety of different sneakers, those of which got updates for throughout this week. For example, some of those may potentially include some Nike and Off-White, Yeezys, Jordans, and more. But with that short little intro out of the way, why don't we jump right into the first update. So like always, we're going to be kicking it off with some Nike and Off-White since that's what you guys seem to like the most, but unfortunately today we actually don't have any updates for Nike and Off-White, and unfortunately it's probably going to be like this for a very long time. So I'm just going to use this time to give you guys a brief reminder. If you guys didn't see last week's updates video, the Air Max 90s in Desert Ore and also Black are set to release on the 7th because of shipment delays. I guess one update that I could give you that is somewhat relevant to Nike and Off-White is just some help with copying on Nike, and the reason I want to bring this up now is because we actually experienced quite a few errors with the free VPN, and I mean, this kind of goes with anything that's free. You're probably going to be experiencing some errors, so unfortunately it didn't work out fantastic. I was only able to get myself in 11 accounts on both products, the shoot-arounds and the Fear of Gods. There was just an excessive amount of lag, and 10 minutes really tends to fly, and I really don't think lag is something we could be dealing with when we're trying to get in 25 accounts, especially because there's not only going to be 2 products releasing, there's actually going to be 4 products releasing, and some of them will be a Leo drop. For this reason, I think proxies for the original method that I actually mentioned in the How to Cop guide might be worth the investment, but again, you could also just feel free to use the free VPN because you are going to be able to get in some accounts with that, but please understand that it's not going to be as high as you'd like, specifically because of all the errors you're going to experience. Anyway, the last thing that I guess kind of relates to Nike and Off-White, luckily now Nike has announced that in order to prevent counterfeit goods, all of Nike's products will have a unique QR code on size tags. And honestly guys, this is game-changing. This is something that if it would have been around for years before this, there would have been a whole lot less scamming. So as a fellow sneakerhead, because I'm not just a reseller, I obviously love to collect shoes, this is something that I think is fantastic for the community because, you know, sometimes there's better deals outside of StockX and GOAT, but with all these high quality fakes, it's so difficult to tell sometimes. So now that this is finally going to be implemented, honestly, it's fantastic. But anyway, like I said, there's not really much for Off-White, so let's move on to some Yeezys. According to Yeezy Mafia, we have a new Yeezy 350 V2 dropping soon. This is the 350 V2 Hyperspace, and it's quite reminiscent of the Statics in the sense that it has that translucent stripe. And finally, we just got an on-foot look at the 700 Inertia, which is dropping in March. Not much for Yeezys either, so now moving on to Jordans, this is where we got a little bit more fun stuff. Kicking it off, we have the Crimson Jordan 1 dropping on January 24th for $160. Unfortunately, this time they are not releasing via foot apps, so you can't reserve them as of now. If they did, I would have tweeted out. My Twitter is KeithAdam10 if you were wondering. And they also have yet to load onto Nike sneakers. Let me know if you guys would want a How to Cop guide for this, and if you are interested in the How to Cop guide, feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications just so you stay 100% updated on this shoe and really any hyped shoe that's going to be releasing in the future. I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking me in the comments if they're going to be profitable. When it comes to the majority of Jordan 1s, yeah, they're going to be profitable in sizes under 10. Specifically, the best men's sizes would be 7.5 to 8.5, but even 9 and 9.5 aren't terrible. Of course, this all depends how much tax is in your location. So say if you're in California where there's kind of high tax, it might be a little less profitable in that size 9.5 still, so maybe you just stick to the size 7.5 because you're still going to be able to make a good amount of money there. But honestly, with orange and gray, I think this is going to be a personal pair for me. But anyway, moving on to some other news, Soulfly has just announced that they are not going to be releasing on sneakers despite images loading a little while back. Now this is fine because they weren't supposed to drop on sneakers, but they are still going to be dropping. The only reason I think that they might have loaded up images onto Nike is because of an announcement they're going to make on the Nike Sneakers app. You should expect the in-store drop to be somewhere around mid-February, but of course regarding this, I'll keep you guys updated. Moving on to Travis Scott Jordan 1s. Han Zuying actually posted some pretty quality photos of them in hand and also on feet. There's a couple of subtle details that I think we might have missed before. For example, We now see that the shoe has inner pockets. It's also got some tonal branding that was quite subtle, and we finally have some stamped logos on the heel of the shoe. These drop in April of 2019, and you should expect them to be quite limited, around 40,000 pairs. Oh, and also, how could I forget? We have some fantastic news that I forgot to mention last week, and this actually is regarding Travis Scott. So if you haven't heard by now, Travis Scott is confirmed to be performing at the Super Bowl. There was a little bit of controversy with why he didn't want to sign up initially. I'm not really going to go in depth into that because right now we're just talking about sneakers. But the thing I wanted to mention right now is that whatever he walks out onto stage with, you should expect a potential drop on Nike sneakers, specifically because of what happened with Justin Timberlake last year. But of course, this isn't confirmed. You know, enjoy your Super Bowl, but I know a lot of you probably have some spare time during the halftime show, probably just eating some chicken wings or whatever. Anyway, moving on, the Jordan 6 infrared images have loaded up for the grade school pairs onto the Sneakers app. Just a quick reminder for these men's and grade school sizes, and I believe toddler sizes as well, will be dropping on February 16th. And luckily, unlike the 2014 iteration, these will not be a hot pink. This will be closer to red. And that's something I'm pretty thankful for. I mean, I didn't mind the hot pink version of the infrareds in 2014. I just personally think these look much nicer. Anyway, now, moving on to the big news. Green KAWS 4s are set to drop later this year for $350. We already saw the gray iteration, and then we also saw the black iteration. Now apparently we're going to be getting a dark green version. This is just a little mock-up I made. It should look quite similar to this, perhaps a little darker. It's pretty bad, but you know, I tried to do what I could do. But yeah, of course, when it comes to the shoe, I'll be keeping you guys updated. Moving on to the next shoe, the Turbo Green Jordan 1s will be dropping February 15th for $160. January always tends to be the driest month out of sneakers for every single year, but now comes February. February is the month where it tends to pick up, and we could see it here with the Turbo Green ones. But now with Jordans out of the way, why don't we move on to some miscellaneous sneakers? So to kick it off with these, we have some Holy Festival human races, and also some other human races such as the Pale Nudes and the, I forget the name of the other, I'm not even gonna try. They're restocking on the 25th, and you actually were able to cart the blank canvases as of now, but unfortunately, you can't pay for them. Once you try to pay for them, it just kicks you back. So if you guys want, ahead of time, you can feel free to add it to your cart. I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking me, since it's right around the corner, are they going to be profitable? With the high retail of $250, the majority of them aren't going to be profitable, but when it comes to the blank canvas and also the purple Holy Festival human race and black, you should expect to at least be able to make some lunch money in those sizes. And I know that the sizes under 7 usually tend to do the best, but it's quite inconsistent with the human races, specifically because of the demand for them. So honestly, I would go for any size in the human races, in blank canvas and also purple and black, and you might make some lunch money, but it's not a fantastic margin, specifically because that retail is so high. $250 is absolutely ridiculous. But you know, if you want your personal pair, this is a fantastic day to cop them. It shouldn't be too difficult. And finally, for the last update for today, the SB Pigeons have their final 2 drops coming around the corner. First of all, on the 24th on staplepigeons.com, they will be dropping. Specifically, the people who own keychains will have the advantage. But then on the 25th, Extra Butter will be releasing these, and that's where everyone has the opportunity. With that, though, I'm going to conclude today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate your time. Also, feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications if you happen to be new here. Also, feel free to leave a like if you happen to enjoy the video, or if you perhaps learned a thing or two. With that, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck on these upcoming releases.
That started all the whole song while Joaquin is taking all the credit.
Oh, by the way, KAWS is a big liar, and I created the song because Chris Delbo, he started throwing